Hello, welcome back to my channel, Back of the Book. Today we are going to talk about my favorite vampire books that I don't think people should forget. It's all about the vampires. Don't forget the vampires. Hello, and welcome to the channel, Back of the Book. Today we are going to talk about vampires. Please don't forget about the vampires. Not all of them are full of devilishness and evil. We're not all evil. Perhaps you like a little romance, or some spectacular powers, or some kind of nice vampire who saves your life or takes you by surprise and you fall in love with them. Well, I have some spectacular books that you might like, so step inside to my office and let's explore. The first one is my favorite. Well, one of my favorites. I found it and it was just sitting on my shelf for a long time. I decided to read them and I really fell in love with the story. They came out in 2009, I believe, and the publication dates were 2009 to 2014, and that would be the Morganville Vampires. Yes, the Morganville Vampires. It's a small town in Texas, and Claire Danvers is a freshman there. She had transferred, an early transfer. She's 16, and there are some very mean girls at the dorms, and one of them, the names is Monica. She's super mean, and she has a protector. That's a vampire. Yes. And Claire didn't know this until she went to the glass house, which is a house off of campus so she could live there. There she meets Eve, the little gothic girl, then Michael Glass, and also Shane. I don't remember his last name, but there are some really cool stories in these books. It's a town that's run by vampires. People have to give taxes, which would be their blood, so the vampires can eat. And they have some very interesting stories, adventures. They have houses that are made by the founders of the town, and they have like alternate tunnels that go into another house, alternate doors, and there's a main character. There's a main vampire. Oh, I forgot her name. Oh my god, I forgot her name. But it's just so good. There are like 15 books in this series, and I'm only on the sixth one. So I'm really excited to continue with this book, because in the beginning it's interesting because Michael, he's like a ghost and he can't be alive during the day but only the nighttime, and then they find out why, and then later there's some more stories with that. I think you would really like this because they kind of form like a family, and they have a coffee shop that they go to called the Common Grounds, and you can kind of go there. It's like home base. You can't be harmed there. There's some secrets about the I don't know, I don't want to give too much away, but you really should check this series out. Yes, it's probably really old to all of you, but I love vampires. Where were these books when I was younger? I love these. So that's one of them. And also La Vida Vampire and Last Vampire Standing. This author is Nancy Haddock, and these books are so awesome. I love these. They're like Sherlock Holmes meets Magnum P.I. I don't know. Or Twilight. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. But being dead isn't all it's cracked up to be. Take it from Francesca Marinelli, trapped underground for over 200 years and rediscovered during the renovation of a Victorian mansion in historic St. Augustine. A tourist attraction herself, she's well suited for a job as an old ghost town tour guide. Francesca's due for a new lease on afterlife and enough sunblock. But she's a vampire. Vampires are part of society. They sign a contract and they can live amongst people and have jobs and stuff, and there's mystery romance and stuff like that. I don't know how many books are in this series, but I can find out. Let's look. So we have Nancy Haddock, La Vida 2008, book 1. So I'll just say like how many books are in here. How many books in Vampire series? Always the Vampire. The 3rd book in Haddock's Oldest City Vampire series. I have Levita Vampire, Levita Last Vampire Standing, and there's another one called Always the Vampire, and that was the 3rd book. Always the Vampire. Okay. Cheska Marinelli has been slacking on her duties as a vampire princess, but she will be the best maid honor ever for Maggie's Victorian wedding. Okay. The last book is Always the Vampire by Nancy Haddock, the 3rd book, so I have to get that. Ooh, it's $14 on Amazon, so I have to get that. And if you like Bram Stoker's Dracula, you would really like this. Dracula in Love by Karen Essex. And it is kind of like the viewpoint of Mina and how she's in love with Count Dracula. And it's pretty good. Listen to this. London, 1890. Mina Murray Harker, the rosy-cheeked, quintessentially pure Victorian heroine, becomes Count Dracula's object of desire. To preserve her chastity, 5 male defenders rush in to rescue her from the vampire's evil clutches. This is a story we have been told. But now, from Mina's own pen, we discover a tale more central, more devious, and more enthralling than the Victorians could have ever imagined. From the shadowy banks of the river Thames to the wild and wind-swept Yorkshire coast, Mina vividly recounts the intimate details of what really transpired between her and the Count, the joys and terrors of a passionate affair, as well as her rebellion against her own frightening. Thrilling, shocking, and deliciously seductive, Dracula in Love will sink its teeth into you and suck you in from start to finish. Karen Essex has wielded her magic on one of the world's most terrifying tales, and the result is absolutely irresistible. Doesn't that sound good? It's very good. And of course, I love the Vampire Kisses novels. Yes, the Vampire Kisses novels have a lot of them in there, and I don't know how many, but I have a lot. And I didn't get the last book. I think there's like 8 or 9, but I didn't get the last one. And I started reading these a long time ago when I started reading Twilight. And so I just love all these vampire books. So if you have any favorites of your own, let me know. I have more on my shelf, and I'm sure I'll be talking about them soon. But I didn't want anyone to forget about the Morganville Vampires. And by the way, they have a web series online. You can see it at YouTube. It's pretty cool. If I find the link, I'll put it down below. Have a great day, and I hope you come back to my channel, Back of the Book, and like if you like the video, and subscribe if you want to see more. Okay, bye guys. Have a great day. Hello, and welcome to the channel Back of the Book. My name is Monica. Yes, Monica the Vampire.